First thing to remember about a geometry question is that they give you a lot of geometry formulas. So remember, you can open that reference chart, and in this case, what are they really asking? Okay, they're giving us a right triangle. They're asking what the side lengths. We have a formula for that. It's one you should memorize because it's one of the most basic geometry formulas that exists, but Pythagorean theorem is what we're going to use here. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared is the way they present it. I always remembered it as a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and that's kind of the way it's written here. So we just need to make sure we know what's what. The most important thing is the hypotenuse has to be the c term. So the hypotenuse, by definition, let me write that word, hypotenuse, is the side that is opposite the right angle in a right triangle. So that's why these only exist in right triangles. So 19 is my hypotenuse, that's my c term. And we can kind of tell just from the answers that that needs to be squared. So a and b don't make any sense. And there's no subtraction in Pythagorean theorem. So it's a squared plus b squared. So that's why c is going to be the answer here. Though we might see subtraction in certain cases, it really just depends on what we're given. So in this case, I mean, they labeled B that, but this is A, and the two legs of the triangle don't matter the order. So it doesn't matter whether one's A or B, that doesn't matter, but the hypotenuse does. So just, to be clear, we could have written this as B squared plus 4 squared equals C squared, or 4 squared plus B squared, let's not do C, let's do 19, equals 19 squared. So that left side doesn't really matter much, and the only reason we might end up with subtraction is if they were asking us to solve for b. Then we would move the 4 squared over to the other side using subtraction. So I'm not going to write it because I don't want to confuse you anymore, but Pythagorean theorem, one of the most fundamental rules in all geometry, its basic function is when we have two sides of any right triangle, we can solve with this formula for the third side. So it doesn't matter which two sides, it's just no matter what, two sides of a right triangle, Pythagorean theorem gets us the third. We should be able to recognize that because it's so fundamental, and this is just a big bold picture of a right triangle. So you want to make that connection really quickly, but if at any time with a geometry question you're kind of stuck, open that reference chart. That'll hopefully get some ideas flowing so you can try something and get the points.